I'm Barry Cryer.
And I'm Gaz Reynolds.
And you're tuned in to the G-Log.
Meet radio and television personality Gaz Reynolds, the founder of World Domination Records and Great Drive Driving School. Like, comment and subscribe to be part of the journey. This is Gaz Reynolds, the G-Log.
The G-Log album is now on sale worldwide. Get your copy now. Available at YouTube Music, Spotify and all major outlets around the world. Links in the description below. Welcome to another exciting episode of the G-Log. A couple of weeks back I interviewed the legendary British stand-up comedian Barry Cryer, or should I call him Sir Barry Cryer. Barry's one of those old school comedians that wrote so many scripts for so many famous artists, from Morecambe and Wise to the Two Ronnies, Tommy Cooper to Freddie Starr. I'm very fortunate to live just across the road from Barry, and I see him on most days, so we've become friends over the past year to year and a half. And I did ask him about a year ago to appear on my vlog series, The G-Log, which is what you're watching now. And he very graciously agreed to come on. In fact, he was quite excited about it. And we split the filming that we actually did a couple of weeks back into two parts. So he's already been in one episode already, and I shot a separate interview on the same day, which is what you're about to watch now. Barry is actually coming back for a third round. God help him. Anyway, this is that interview that was filmed a couple of weeks back, and wow, what a legend. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your background? Now, I know you've got an extensive career, so do you want to talk a little bit about, you know, how you started out and what you actually do?
Not a career, a series of incidents. Blue Eyes got to university years ago and blew it.
Right.
Chasing girls in the bar, Leeds University. My first year results showed it. I let everybody down. I'm BA English failed of Leeds University.
Right.
And I used to say I failed due to the outbreak of the Second World War, which was 16 years before, but upset me very deeply. And after I left university and got a proper job, Leeds Highways Department, I'd been in a student charity show, the Rag Review, when I was at university.
All right.
And then they were doing it again, but the producer had fallen ill. So they asked me back to produce it and appear in it.
Wow.
And a guy came up to Leeds to see somebody, not me.
Yeah.
Saw me on the stage telling jokes and offered me work.
Wow.
Now that would not have happened if I hadn't been at university.
Wow.
But when he saw me, I'd been kicked out of university. You know, you're in the right place at the right time. What's it called? Serendipity.
But in my case, it's always been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, I've had that as well, but 3 or 4 times. It's just amazing. And last year, Leeds University made me Honorary Doctor of Arts.
Wow.
Melvin Bragg, the Chancellor, and all that huge audience, and they asked me to speak. And I said to the young ones in the audience, I said, you're looking at a failure.
Oh.
Get rejection over early. You might have 1 or 2 rejects. Do it. And then get back, keep going. I said, it's good. You've got that over with, you know.
That's what I was actually going to ask you.
Do some rejection.
Yeah, you must have had some rejections in your time.
Yes.
What sort of advice would you give to other people that want to get into your industry? Let's talk a little bit about your industry. What do you actually do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Or did? Oh no.
Well, you still do.
No, I was.
Look, I saw you on the One Show not all that long ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And I happened to bump into you in this very pub probably last year, you might remember, and I said to you, you might not remember, I said I saw you on the One Show, and I'd just been on BBC television, on BBC Two. Not as good as the One Show, I'm afraid.
Well, it's debatable.
But tell our viewers what you actually do.
Well, now it's much quieter because 2 or 3 generations have come along.
Yeah.
But my background, we didn't call it stand-up in those days.
Yeah.
But you did. The men and very few women in those days, far more now, which is great.
Yeah.
You stood up. Dave Allen was the pioneer,
right.
The comedian. He sat down with a cigarette and a drink.
Yes,
It was
I
quite a
remember
breakthrough.
Dave Allen.
It
Yeah, I
was
remember
a
it.
breakthrough at the time.
Yeah.
So that was my initial thing, but before I was pitchforked into show business, I'd had a half-baked idea of being a writer, a journalist.
Right.
So I started jotting down jokes and submitting them, you know, to the BBC, looking at producer's name up in the Radio Times and things.
Right.
And suddenly, Dick Emery, who was a big star in those days, it's another world.
Yeah.
The BBC ruled at the weekend. They were killing ITV. They had all the big stars, Mike Yarwood, the impressionist.
I remember
Dick
Mike
Emery,
Yarwood, yeah.
And of course, Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah,
That
of
was
course.
fun.
Who you didn't you write some scripts for Morecambe?
Oh, I
Wise?
worked with a man called John Junkin. I worked and wrote for Eric and Ernie. And then the great Eddie Braben came along.
Total legend, this guy.
Oh, Eddie Braben, who turned them into Eric and Ernie as opposed to Morecambe and Wise.
Right.
And I used to refer to Eddie as the A-team because he changed their image brilliantly, and it was annoying John, my partner.
Yeah.
But Eddie Braben heard about this. There's this guy calling you the A-team. And when we finally met, he grabbed hold of me in front of everybody, pointed at me and said, "Famous Morecambe and Wise writer." We became friends then, Eddie Braben and I. So yes, that was the start. And then again, right place at the right time. I'd been writing and appearing in the nightclub shows
Right.
for Danny LaRue, who was also a big
loved
star.
Danny LaRue. Loved him.
And he had a legendary club in Hanover Square in London. And one night, David Frost, who was massive on television, came in to see the show. Ronnie Corbett was in it.
Yeah, I loved Ronnie.
And Frosty invited me and Ronnie Corbett for a drink afterwards. Maybe that's why he'd come that night. I don't know.
Right.
And as a result, I became a David Frost writer.
Right.
And Ronnie Corbett went into the show, The Frost Report.
Yeah, I remember the Frost Report.
So that all happened in, well, sort of, in one night.
Wow.
David Frost turns up in this nightclub and changed my life, because if you were a Frost writer, everybody wanted to know.
Right.
A lot of doors opened, lucky breaks. But I always say, if you get a lucky break and you go through the door, people then quite rightly say, "Get on with it."
Right.
You've had a lucky break, justify it. So I hope I did. You start grafting.
Right.
Then, you hope.
Yeah.
But these are my mentors, these people. Late again.
Go away.
These are my mentors, Danny LaRue,
Right.
David Frost.
Yeah.
These people.
What about Bruce Forsyth?
Oh, and Bruce, who I met at the Windmill.
Yeah, Bruce was another legend. How did you get involved with Bruce?
The Windmill Theatre.
Right, okay.
I came down to London. I was going to conquer London in 17 days.
Right.
I had a 17-day rail return ticket. I'm not making this up.
Right.
I had 1 or 2 phone numbers and auditions.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going back to Leeds with a tail between my legs. I've failed.
Right.
The day before the ticket ran out, I got an audition at the Windmill Theatre, that was another legend in those days.
Right.
And it was conveyor belt auditions in the morning, wheel them on, wheel them off.
Okay.
And I went on at 10:30 and told a few jokes and sang a song. And a voice from the audience, it was a great man actually, Vivian Van Dam, who ran the Windmill, known as VD to everybody. Do you know any more jokes? Yes. Do you know another song? I said, I haven't got any music. Ronnie will busk for you. He was the pianist, Ronnie Bridges, who became a friend. So I sang another song. Thank you. I thought, well, it's over. Then another man who became a friend called John Law came on the stage and said, dressing room 12A.
Okay.
And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you've got the job.
Wow.
I was on the stage 12:30, midday.
Yeah.
That very day, doing what I did at my audition.
Wow.
6 shows a day.
Oh.
36 shows a week. Bottom of the bill, doing my 12 minutes.
Cool.
And the old man had me in his office between every performance that first day, between the fish tank and the desk. He changed my act.
Wow.
That joke's very good. You tell it too early, do it later. Here's one you could do. He changed my act in one day.
Wow.
And I rang my dear mother. My dad had died. I was just me and my mother in Leeds. I said, I'm a Windmill comedian. She'd no idea what I was talking about.
Oh.
And I met this man, Bruce Forsyth. It was brilliant, 6 times a day. And we used to sit chatting in the canteen, and he said, "Oh, I'm packing it in." I said, what do you mean you're packing it in? I said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I think I've got as far as I'm going to get." And then he said, I said, "What are you going to do?" Then he said, I think it was a joke, he said, "Little shop tobacconist or something." The following year, 1958, I read that my friend Bruce Forsyth was a new compere Sunday night at the Palladium.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it, I was delighted. Walking down Kingsway in London, he's walking towards me. He's just been to the press conference for his first Palladium.
Wow.
Live with millions of viewers that coming Sunday. Oh boy, we embraced. I said, "How'd you go?" I said, "What's happened to the tobacconists?" He said, "Postponed." And then I knew him from then on and worked with him on the Generation Game. And
Wow.
yeah, we were friends for 50 years, I suppose.
Wow, that's impressive.
And then working for Frost, of course, you worked with, there was a whole gang of us. You worked with Monty Python before they were Monty Python.
I was going to say, I saw you on the One Show with Michael Palin.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a load of wonderful older writers. Keith Waterhouse, great Yorkshire writer. Dick Bosworth, the American. Subsequently, I went on to write a lot with him. And then Graham Chapman and I had become mates. He wrote with John Cleese.
Yeah.
But
Another
Frosty,
legend. Yeah.
who I call the practicing catalyst, brilliant with people. Frosty put me and Graham together to write.
Wow.
We never thought of writing together. We finished up writing over 50 shows
Wow,
together,
that's
Graham
amazing.
Chapman and I. And that was Frost. So I've been so lucky with the mentors, these men
Yeah.
you met and worked for.
And you worked with the two Ronnies as well, didn't you?
Oh yes, I was found a member there because I'd known Ronnie Corbett obviously way back from the nightclub days.
Yeah.
I knew him before, long before the two Ronnies. And Ronnie Barker I'd met.
Right.
And then of course, as we all know, they were both in the Frost Report, and you could see the chemistry between those
Well,
two
amazing,
men
yeah.
straight away.
Yeah. But
First-
you wrote scripts for them, didn't you?
Oh yeah, there was a whole gang of us,
Yeah.
and I've hardly ever written alone.
Oh, really?
I wrote nightclub shows on my own, but no,
But you have written books, though, haven't you?
yeah, anecdotes.
Yeah. But didn't you have a book out recently?
No, not recently.
I thought it was a couple of years back.
Yes, there was Mrs. Hudson's Diary.
Yeah, I saw that,
Charlotte
yeah.
Holmes's landlady.
Yeah, that was 2 or 3 years back, wasn't it?
Yes, which
Yeah.
I co-wrote with our youngest son, Bob. He's my co-author.
Oh, right, I was going to ask you, how many children have you got?
4, 3 sons and a daughter.
Oh, wow.
7 grandchildren and a great granddaughter,
Wow.
Isabel.
And what made you come to Hatch End, and how long have you been in Hatch End?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason was we were living in a flat in Maida Vale,
Oh, love Maida Vale.
and Ronnie Barker and I become mates, and Ronnie and Joy Barker lived in Church Lane in Pinner.
Aha.
And he had us up for dinner one night and drove me round for sales.
All right.
So the result was the next day I'm up in Hatch End sitting
Right.
with this musician who was desperate to sell, which is a good sign, but I thought,
Right.
I've never bought a house. What do? You haggle.
Right.
And I beat him down from 11,000 to 10,400. I mean, lucky or what? I mean, he was quite something in those days there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even a good bet for a mortgage being in my business.
Right,
but
yeah,
a mate
yeah.
swung me a mortgage, and we've been here ever since. And
Wow.
that was 1967.
Wow, I've been here since 1992.
Well, we're 52 years in the same.
I'm not planning to move.
And we are. We're downsizing as I speak,
Oh,
which is painful, but it's got to be done.
yeah. But, well, you're not leaving Hatch End, are you?
No, we're coming down the road.
No.
Nearest
You're-
to the pub.
Yeah. Oh, that's all
We're in
right
a
then.
flat- We're in a flat just over there.
Oh, well, that'll be all right. Yeah, I was going to say, what do you like about Hatch End?
It's got its own quality. It's not in London, it's not in the country, it's right
Yeah.
on the edge.
Yeah.
I don't drive.
Right.
If I did, I wouldn't take a car into London.
Yeah.
I've got a station at the bottom of the road.
Yeah.
We had 4 children, we had dogs. You're in the countryside in minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's superb.
Into
It's-
London in minutes as well, really.
And you can whiz into Queen's Park and Euston on
Yeah.
the train.
Useful for you if you're on the One Show.
Exactly. You keep mentioning the One Show. Oh, I'll tell you a story about the One Show.
Yeah, tell us.
First time
Any
I did
juicy gossip? We
some
like that.
sort of... No, it's not juicy.
No?
It was a sort of anniversary, Second World War anniversary, and they
Yeah.
had me in, God knows why, just to lower the tone with some jokes. And they had children, Chelsea pensioners, war veterans and everything. And they turned the studio into a replica of a village hall.
Right.
And it was an amazing programme. And I sat with a guy who'd been a Spitfire pilot.
Oh.
And he said, you feel guilty, he said. They were young, those Spitfire pilots, 20, 21. He'd lost a lot of friends and he'd survived. He said, you almost feel guilty. After the war, he became successful in business. Now, I can't remember the city in Germany he was in,
right?
But he told me this story. He's staying in an hotel in this German city.
Yeah.
And in the same hotel that night was a Luftwaffe reunion.
Right.
German pilots. They heard about him and invited him over to the dinner.
Right.
And he said within 10 or 15 minutes, I wasn't remotely embarrassed or anything. They embraced him.
Wow.
They were bonding with him. They're saying we were sent to kill each other by politicians.
Amazing.
He said it was the most amazing experience of his life, meeting these guys. And he said, immediately I could bond with them. Because it was the politicians who sent us to kill each other. So we were together.
Something I was going to ask you. I've seen you over. Yeah, actually, I think I'll have a little slurp of my drinky poos. Something I was going to ask you. I've seen, and unfortunately I didn't get to the show, but I've seen you do a couple of shows at Harrow Arts Centre as well.
Yes.
Have you got any more plans to do any more shows locally? And
no, not locally. No. I used to do another early place I worked at was the Players Theatre Old Music Hall down at Charing Cross.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks from now, as we speak, I've been asked to Greenwich, a wonderful theatre, old theatre, to be the chairman of the music hall. I haven't done that for many years. Got my costume and everything in the wardrobe.
Oh wow!
Smelling of mothballs. So it gets your adrenaline going.
Yeah.
I'm also the host at the Oldie magazine lunches. Have you heard of the Oldie magazine?
I haven't, no.
It's subscription and it's booming at the moment. You don't see it in the newsagents. It's superb. I can recommend it.
Was it all online, is it?
Sorry?
Is it online?
No, it's... You remember paper and pages?
Oh, yeah.
You remember when you turned pages?
Yes.
You remember all that?
It used to happen occasionally. Yeah, it used to happen occasionally.
Well, we have the lunches and authors come along and talk about their books, and I host those. We've got one the week after next.
Oh, wow. Now, another thing I was going to ask you is, how often do you come to this pub?
Oh, not often, just every day, basically.
Well, I thought so, because I've been here
but only once in the day, I have to stress.
Once in the day, but for the whole day?
No. And I've never been in here at closing time in my life.
What would you say is your favourite drink?
I'm the thinking woman's lager lout. I don't do spirits.
Yeah.
Many years ago,
right,
in the nightclub era, I got a taste from brandy and coke.
Never tried it.
It's an insult to brandy, but it was coke with a kick.
Oh. And
Danny LaRue, our employer, he was a lovely guy. You could have one or two on the house before the show. This is 1:15 a.m. the show.
God.
There'd be one or two drinks in the dressing room, and afterwards one or two after the show. And my heart began to thud, and I went to see, we were living in Maida Vale then.
Right.
I went to see our GP, he was Dr. Vulcan.
Right.
It was a lovely
Wasn't
guy.
he in Star Trek? He was. No, that was a Vulcan, sorry.
No, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And he examined me, the heart thudding, and he said, tell me about the nightclub where you work.
Yeah.
So I told him about the brandy and coke.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, how many do you have? I said, well, got to be honest, about 4 or 5 that night. There were probably doubles. You were having 10 brandies and you're wondering why your heart is thudding. He said, why do you think they give it to people after accidents? Marvellous man, never touched a drop afterwards.
What would you say is your favourite joke? Tell your favourite joke now,
well,
to our audience.
Well, I've got hundreds of them, but the one that man saw me telling on the stage, Leeds Empire Theatre all those years ago.
Yeah.
A motorist driving down a country lane runs over a cockerel.
Runs over a what?
A cockerel.
A cockerel, yeah.
And he's quite upset. The farmhouse is just by the road, and he goes and knocks on the door, and the woman answered, and he said, I had to say, I think I've killed your cockerel.
Oh.
I would like to replace him. And she said, please yourself, the hen's around the back. Not the greatest, but a favourite of mine, because it's one of the first I ever told on the stage.
What was the joke you told me earlier? Because I was just constantly laughing.
My memories are gone. What joke did
Well,
I tell you
so's
earlier?
mine. I can't remember.
Well, that's
but
a
I
good
just know.
mutual moment.
I just know I was.
I think our director remembers what the joke was.
Hello, director. We've got Sue behind the camera.
Hello. Do
So-
you remember the joke? Do you remember the joke?
Nope.
Now, moving on. You were involved in movies, weren't you?
Oh, not much.
But what was you involved in terms of movies?
Hardly anything.
Well, I was reading on your Wikipedia page, which, as you told me, isn't quite accurate. Why is it not quite accurate?
I don't know why it's not accurate.
You told me earlier.
You must accuse Wikipedia.
You told me earlier that it's not quite accurate.
Oh yes, in the opening line, the very first line,
Yeah.
it says his family was Jewish.
Yeah, and that we can confirm that's not
I
true.
am delighted to be thought to be Jewish, but as
Yeah.
it happens, I'm not.
But what's
Rabbi Northwood called me honorary Jew, friend of the family, which I thought was marvellous. But
where-
get your facts right.
Where did the story come from? You was telling me the story, but it was off camera. So how do you think that information might have got jumbled up somehow?
What, the fact that I'm Jewish?
No, the fact that it was another Barry that they were probably talking about.
Oh, yes, well, there was a Barry Norman, the film critic, who was an old friend of mine.
Yeah.
And dear Barry
Remember him
left us.
Yeah.
And it was posted, film critic Barry Norman dies, with a picture of me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an older man called Barry, it must be him.
So that's probably what's happened. That's
Yes,
how
the
they've
same
got
thing.
your
It's an old guy
Wikipedia.
called Barry something, you
Yeah.
know, it must be him.
Right. It's been a pleasure having you on the
Pleasure
G-Log.
being on.
I'd like to have you back if you'd come back one day.
Okay.
Seeing as you're staying in Hatch End as well. So I only live up the road from you, as you know.
Yes.
So have you got any final words that you'd like to say to those people out there? Because there will be probably millions of people watching from around the world at some
Yes.
point.
I must commiserate with all you people watching. You don't live in Hatch End. We do.
And sorry you've had to put up with both of us, Baz and Gaz.
Baz and Gaz.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Baz.
Oh, you're welcome.
And it's been a pleasure having you on. And if you guys would like to see Baz again, which I'm sure you will, then leave your comments down below. If you've enjoyed today's video, then please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like this type of content and want to see more of it, then please leave your comments down below and let me know what you think and what your ideas are. That's the end of today's video. I'm sure I've already said that. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't said though. Don't forget to like this comment as well and hit that notification button so that you know every time I upload a video. That's the end of today's video. I'm sure I've said that before. So thanks for tuning in and I'll see you soon. Help support my channel by spreading my videos everywhere.
Hi mortals, I'm Jesus. You can now purchase Gaz Reynolds Presents The G-Log, album volume 1 from Apple Music, Spotify, and all major outlets around the world. Includes the massive hits Electronic Kama Sutra, I Only Hear You, and Dark Lady. This is one heavenly experience you won't forget. By the way, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification button so that you can watch every episode of the G-Log religiously.
Out now, Gaz Reynolds' new album, The Wedding Album, as featured on Big Review TV and Radio Harrow. Available at iTunes and all major outlets worldwide.